Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Awaken the World. It is Saturday Eve, the 28th of November in the year of oh my God, 2020. Tonight, free will. Is your will free? It is 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You are live here with me, myself, and I, and who knows who else. Well, Kelly's here. That's for sure. Oh, there you are. Just hiding, I guess. So, first of all, as always, let me express my love to each and every one of you. You know, we form part of one magnificent whole. And the more we begin to think like that, the more we begin to understand that each of us is a reflection of that whole. We can begin to care more deeply for each other, to see ourselves in another, and truly bring the healing to humanity that it truly needs, especially in times such as these. So, what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, we're going to talk about free will and whether or not your will is truly free. So, when we think about free will, in its simplest terms, free will is the concept that you have some measure of control. Now, as we've talked about many times over and over and over again, okay, and we're going to stay away from the philosophical argument regarding free will because that like literally is exhaustive and exhausting. And I don't think any of it's actually heading in the right direction. It isn't about whether or not there's free will. It's at what place do you actually exercise free will? And does anyone exercise free will prior to reaching that place? So this becomes a little bit convoluted, maybe, but still, to me, a very interesting conversation. So what we're talking about is a degree of control. Now, of course, we know already that the concept of control outside of ourselves is a farce. It's a lie. It's an illusion. You can take someone and you can stick them in a cage. You may be able to control their movements. You may be able to control whether they live or die. But you can never control them. You can never control what it is they choose for themselves at their deepest place within them. All forms of control outside of yourself are illusionary. And if you perceive that you have some control outside of yourself, understand that it's short-lived and will likely lead to concerns. So what we see around us every day is that people are reaching out outside of themselves, trying to control an aspect of their environment, and that really has to do more with the uncontrolled state within. The only place where free will actually functions. Now, here's the part that gets a little interesting. Are you exercising free will when your consciousness, your concept of self is minimal? As is the consciousness of most human beings on this planet right now. The vast majority of people are still very much asleep. Yes, there are some waking up, that is certain. But at the same time, there are many others who are simply going deeper into the dream. And this is necessary because energy is always maintained in balance. That yin and yang again, both sides. The light and the dark, whatever you wish to determine. What we're really talking about is the balance and harmony of two energies. So when we're talking about free will, if you are sound asleep and your vision is very narrow and you do not perceive many choices in front of you, are you actually utilizing your free will? Or is it a programmed response based on your experiences, based on your upbringing, based on your contacts within society, based on your moral principles that have been impressed upon you? As long as free will is coming from the place of the mind, it can never truly be free. There is always a degree of programming involved. And we notice within ourselves that we will fight up against our actual free will by utilizing the thought level of free will. You know, the concept that we don't have another choice, that we feel, and here's the interesting part. We decide, in other words, we exercise free will in order to decide that we don't have the choice. And we say to ourselves, and oftentimes we'll say to others around us, well, I did not have a choice. I had to do this. And yet at no time do you actually understand that you utilized free will to make the choice that you had no choice. And indeed you did have a choice. And the choice is to recognize that you had choice. And then to exercise the choice not from a place of thought. You see, your real free will, the actual free will that you are, is that which lies before thought. Your higher self, the true being within you. And you recognize this outpouring of free will in many ways. For example, when you find yourself feeling compassion or empathy for someone else around you, or something you're listening to, or something that is ringing true within your own being, and you notice that you are choosing to cry or choosing to react to it. And you're riding a wave in the egoic self of the free will of the higher being that you are. And the exorcisation, we're not doing any exorcising of that free will. So free will from the point of view of the mind is quite limited at best. It is always based upon whatever the current egoic state of being is. And you can see that egoic state of being as, someone who used to be an alcoholic, for example. When they were an alcoholic, they were still exercising that egoic free will. When they choose to do the 12-step program, they're also exercising free will. When they reform themselves in who they are and create themselves in a new image, that is also exercising free will. But in truth, it is all the minimal free will of the egoic self. And that free will is never truly free, because it is always bound by its own sense of limitation. You know, I had this discussion with a group member yesterday or the day before. It's been so busy. In case you've been wondering what I've been up to, I've been making snowflakes, 3D printed snowflakes that speak so well to what so many people are feeling about 2020. That's all I'm going to say about them. And I'm continuing to make snowflakes because there's a large demand. And let's face it, it's just kind of fun. As a matter of fact, I've actually bought a third 3D printer to compensate for the pure amount of snowflakes I have to make, which is not allowing me to use my printers for anything that I would like to do. This is the joy, right? I mean, it really is. So how do we access true free will? Well, here's how it goes, really simple. Pay attention to your gut. Pay attention to that inner voice within you. And this is the crux of what free will really is. It isn't really anything you have to do with making decisions in the material world. Those are all programmed on one degree or another, no matter how free you think you are, no matter how free the choices you think you are making are, they're not. They are always limited by your point of view, always limited by your view of yourself, your idea of your potentiality, your idea of your power. The crux of free will is this. You have the free will at an egoic level to let go and let God. In other words, to pay attention to your own inner guru, to be led from your heart, to be led from your belly, to be led from your gut instinct, to choose to no longer think your will and try to exist in that state, but to allow your free will to be, I freely give myself over to what I truly am, a part of this one magnificent whole. And I have deep faith, deep understanding, and a deep knowing that if I let go and let God, let my own higher being guide me, I will never be led astray. Why else would we try to exercise free will if not to lend ourselves some advantage on some level or another? And egoically, when we're coming from the place of thoughts, that's what we're doing. Even in the act of caring for another, we are still caring for ourselves. The only true free will that any of us exercise is the willingness to surrender the present moment to creation, to surrender our judgments, surrender our concepts of good and bad and whether we enjoy it or don't enjoy it. Surrender to creation, surrender to that higher self within you, and instead pay attention to that still inner space within. And then you will see the gift that's being offered to you in every moment of your life. The gift's being offered to you right now. This is the only place that we honestly exercise free will in its totality. Anywhere else in our existence, we are exercising a controlled portion of it based on our past experiences, based on our underlying subconscious seed that we oftentimes have yet to deal with, and also based at a deeper level on the genetic history of all humanity, of which we are a part of as one human family. So please let go of the concept that you're truly controlling anything in your life, and instead be willing to happily, joyfully give up control and simply trust. Simply have faith that you are here with purpose, here with reason, and even if you can't see it right now, tomorrow, or in the future, any other time, all of creation is watching you, and you are loved, and you are cared for, and you are a powerful spiritual being having a human experience. That's really about it for free will. You know, one of the other things that comes into free will, of course, is our ability to choose. And it's perhaps beneficial to touch again on choice a little bit, because choice operates similarly to free will in the concept that we can only choose from that which we are willing to see. In the act of surrendering yourself to your higher self, you're also stating that your vision is not enough, and the vision of your higher self will guide you. And the vision of your higher self sees the totality, sees that larger picture, that higher point of view. A group member and I were conversing probably 2 or 3 days ago, and I was speaking to them regarding our physical universe and the quantum reality of possibilities. You live in a world of infinite possibility, and that infinite possibility applies to you too. You are not separate from it. But in your perception of the size of you, the smallness of you, the humanity of you versus anything grander than that, you immediately collapse a universe of possibilities down to a room full of possibilities. And then when you finally decide from that limited point of view, you collapse that roomful down to the one possibility that you see right in front of you right now. I would encourage you always, when you're looking to make choices in your life, to open yourself again to that deep, silent space within you. And rather than try to think your way into it, simply ask for guidance. Ask to be shown the choice that will serve you most. Now, be wary of that. A lot of times in our lives, that which serves us the most often feels like it's beating us down or doing us harm in some way. And it's truly not. It's preparing you for what lies ahead, preparing you for the growth and evolution and the wondrous future that is your powerful being. On another note, I want to say congratulations to Kelly. It's been a hard go the last couple of years. Sometimes forcing her to approach her piano and get over her fears and allow herself to be free with her music. And I'm so proud to announce that on December 4th, her first album will be released globally on all the streaming and digital music platforms, from Google Play to iHeartRadio to iTunes and Spotify. The list goes on and on and on. And that is a wonderful accomplishment. And I'm going to be working to get a little video together with one of her pieces, and we're going to offer it here and on Facebook and our various groups and pages as a taste of her amazing talent. Much love to you tonight. Namaste. I hope you have a wonderful Saturday night. We'll catch up again very soon. The holiday season is approaching. There's some, tough times looming on the horizon. And now is the time we must band together, even as we are socially distanced. We must physically distance. Socially, we must come together more than ever to care for each other and love for each other and love each other and support each other. For we truly are supporting and loving and caring for ourselves in those moments as well. Again, namaste, all my love. Have a wonderful Saturday night. Good night.